What's up, guys? I'm excited today to bring you my first gameplay video for Halloween Cup. I've had a ton of fun with Halloween Cup, and I'm trying to pump out as many viable teams as possible so that I can give you a couple more options to play around with. Before we get into it, first of all, I want to give a huge shout out to all my Patreon supporters. I could have done any of this without you. I've had great interactions with everyone, and it's just been an awesome experience so far. But this team that I am going to unveil to you today before has kind of gained a little bit traction already. A couple of different people have come upon it independently, and this is a team with Tentacruel lead and 2 SmackDown users in the back. So it plays pretty similarly to a lot of the teams that I've shown before, but I'll show you some gameplay video, and this team is incredible at coming back from lost leads. And there's actually an example in here, a set where I lose every single lead and still win every single game. So let's get into it. The goal of this team is that Tentacruel is kind of there, and its job is to take out the Azumarill. So first game, we can see the job is actually pretty easy. Azumarill starts at the beginning, and what isn't easy, however, is their switch-in Pokemon. Toxicroak gives this team a ton of trouble. So we're going to see Crustle swap in here. There's no real good answer here. You just really can't have Tyranitar against the Toxicroak, but the Acid Spray debuff for this locked-in Pokemon does really help. I would never throw Acid Spray if you're just going to switch out, and they're going to switch out anyways. If they're switch locked though, yeah, go ahead, throw the Acid Spray, stay in, and we're going to see Crustle is barely going to take down this Toxicroak, and of course Azumarill is going to come in afterwards. The thing is with Azumarill, it does not really matter. Okay, this play right here is what I like to call an alley-oop. We're going to get the Acid Spray off, and then Tyranitar is going to absolutely dunk on this Marowak. The thing about the Tentacruel Azumarill matchup is that it is so dominant, you don't really need shields or anything. All of Azumarill's 3 possible charge moves are resisted, and Tentacruel is really, really tanky. Its only downside is its charge moves leave little something to be desired, so it's not very good in most 1v1 matchups. But as you can see here, I can just get the Acid Spray off and Poison Jab down. I'm not sure if we're going to get to see an Azumarill charge move, but it doesn't really hurt too much. Like, if you're at half health, even a Hydro Pump isn't going to take you out of here. So. But yeah, there's only 3 sets in this match today. I just wanted to get this one out really quickly since Halloween Cup is only 1 week long. I really did want to start getting videos out so that people can kind of see what to do. Here we have a Crustle lead. I'm going to swap immediately to my own Crustle. Crustle lead is a bit rough as well. But you kind of have to swap to your own Crustle. Unfortunately, I catch the first SmackDown damage, so they're still going to win switch advantage. And at this point, it's kind of you have to go to the Shadow Tyranitar. Surprise ruined, but you still do have a shield, and hopefully they don't have anything to answer to you. Right now, they have a Swalot, another very common Pokemon in Halloween Cup that is barely seen in regular Cups. Swalot, it does okay against Shadow Tyranitar. Problem is you're taking a lot of damage from the infestations. You don't hear that a lot. But you resist the charge moves. So, fortunately that I'm in this matchup with shields down because Hydro Pump is up, but even a Hydro Pump doesn't really take out a Venomoth, unfortunately. So Shadow Tyranitar is going to have to do a decent amount of work here. And I believe in a Sylph Cup in the past, Shadow Tyranitar's one job was to get rid of Venomoth. So, yeah, this is going to be very close. Sludge Bomb is Ice Beam is just barely going to take me out. Sludge Bomb would be resisted, so they go for the normal effectiveness Ice Beam, and that's a close game right there. But unfortunately, if you can't manage to get that Shadow Tyranitar with a couple shields, it's pretty tough. So we're going to have a Wigglytuff lead, and they're going to go right into Haunter. Haunter and Gengar have been extremely common this cup. And I'm going to no-shield Shadow Ball. So this is one of my first sets with this team. I would never no-shield Shadow Ball again. I did not realize that a resisted Shadow Ball did that much damage. Shadow Tyranitar is incredibly squishy. Even so, The rest of this team is no slouch. You don't need Shadow Tyranitar to win. He's just a big boon. But Crustle's going to get the Rock Slide off here. And Crustle also just does a ton of damage. It's actually going to take down this Wigglytuff and bring a little bit of energy into the next matchup. So this is going to be really, really, really close. But once again, a very hard game. We have this Sableye is not going to shield anything. And rightfully so. He knows it's just Acid Sprays if he's counting. But nonetheless, that's kind of all we can do is throw these Acid Sprays and just hope. So it's a lot of these games that end up like this, where it's just Tentacruel in the back. And yeah, I'm not going to quite get to that Acid Spray. So, but with 2 Acid Sprays, Crustle can get the KO there. But yeah, Tentacruel with shields up, it's very tough to do anything damage that poison resists. That's its main weakness. But its role in this team is just to kind of get rid of the Azumarill, and it does a fantastic job at that. So A-Marowak, it's also okay against, but you do a much better job with your Smackdowners in the back, so you swap out right away. I'm going to throw the X Scissor here to get the shield. I'm just throwing X Scissor to get the get a shield out of it. I probably should have just straight farmed down because I had the health advantage, but if you notice my IVs on the side, none of them are very good for any of my Pokemon. They're very attack weighted, so I probably would have lost. I'm going to lose a lot of these mirrors, but they're going to come in with Galvantula, and I'm going to try and get as close to a Hydro Pump as possible to bait it out and go for the Acid Spray, but they're counting, and look how much damage that Smackdown does on Galvantula after a debuff. So now Tyranitar is debuffed, but I still have a shield. Keeping shields for Tyranitar is a good idea, and I'm not going to use any of my charge moves because I really just need to get my fast moves through. As they use their charge move there, I'm going to use one now. I think I can get to a second one is my thoughts there, but I cannot. And Tentacruel's going to come back in and barely be able to take down this Marowak. Using that charge move almost cost me. For some reason, I thought I was at 2 crunches. I remember that game very clearly. Yeah, don't throw your charge moves until you have 2 of them if they have a shield. That's lesson learned, but luckily Tentacruel able to bail me out. Whimsicott lead. Tentacruel's absolutely fantastic against this, and Swalot comes in. So as soon as Swalot came in, I was pretty certain that Tentacruel is really, really good against the rest of his team. I didn't want to swap out right away, though, because I didn't want to swap Tyranitar into a Pokemon with a ton of energy and have to blow shields. So I wait for the Sludge Bomb, because Swalot only has Sludge Bomb or Ice Beam. Tentacruel resists both. So I take a charge move there, and this player elects to throw Sludge Bomb instead of Ice Beam. So I tank it and shield the next one, and I'm able to finish off the Swalot. We're going to see an Azumarill come back in, so they're running a double fairy team. And at this point, I know that Tentacruel is going to be my MVP. I'm kind of thinking about how to do this right now, like where I'm going to sacrifice the Crustle. And I've decided that I want Tentacruel in against Azumarill and Crustle in against Wigglytuff. So I'm just going to throw Acid Sprays. Those damage are going to be able to deal. I shield Azumarill's charge move because it's unlikely that Wigglytuff might even get to one. Or sorry, Whimsicott might even get to one just because it's so squishy. And I think its cheapest charge move is Moonblast or something like that. So yeah, I'm going to get the Acid Spray in. Even if Whimsicott is able to get to a charge move and feints Tentacruel, I can just easily bring in Crustle, and with an Acid Spray debuff, it's only going to be 1 or 2 hits off. So I think this was, maybe my second set ever with this team, and it's already a 4-1. It felt really strong from the beginning, but you do have to learn your matchup. Some of them they're very finicky. Shadow Tyranitar is extremely squishy. For example, you saw me tank that Shadow Ball. It doesn't really work. You have to kind of shield any powerful charge move from an attack-weighted Pokemon. You can take Mandibuzz's charge moves, but you really do have to watch out for Pokemon like Haunter even, that you think you should counter and be able to beat with no shields. You see a Gengar leap, Gengar on Haunter. It become increasingly common, and this is how games normally turn out. You swap in a Crustle, and if they have an Azumarill in the back, it always comes out. Azumarill is the go-to Crustle counter. There are a couple different ways to play this. You can get to like X Scissors and 4 shields, so that's what I do. I get a shield out of this, and I see my opportunity to win back switch advantage, but I'd have to spend 2 shields. So what I really should have done is just let it through. This is still me experimenting. I remember with this set, I kept trying to see if I could win back switch advantage from Azumarills. So in this case, it's kind of nice that I did, because I would rather not play my Shadow Tyranitar into Mawile. But it still is a very, very hard match here, and I probably did lose the game by sacrificing both shields there. So yeah, Gengar comes back in, and I already know whatever is coming is going to deal a ton of damage to Shadow Tyranitar. So Sludge Bomb there, like that's a Sludge Bomb, that's not even a Shadow Ball. And I'm not even able to get to my charge move. So yeah, this Mawile will take me out, but it was a close game. I think if I had kept both shields, it might have been a different story. But yeah, you should. The thing you should really familiarize yourself with is the Azumarill matchup. There's an Azumarill on, I would say, maybe 50% of teams, and they will always come out after you bring out your Crustle. So we're gonna lose another lead here, and swap into Crustle, and look at that, just like clockwork, the Azumarill comes out of the back, out of the woodwork, which is great because then your Tyranitar doesn't have to deal with it. And Crustle's matchup actually, like if you watch this, it's not actually that bad. Azumarill kind of has to throw energy, and if not, then they have to shield. So in this case, I'm debating shielding again, but I just let my Crustle go down. I've learned from my mistakes. Honestly, for the Azumarill player, it's probably better to throw because it's not like your charge move would do anything to Tentacruel anyways. So we're going to see they're going to come back in with their Marowak, and I'm going to go in Tyranitar, and they still have a Wigglytuff. So this player lets me attack a couple times. I think they're trying to let a crunch through so that my Tentacruel can't farm them all the way down. They know that my win condition is that Tentacruel farms them all the way down and then gets off an Acid Spray and a Hydro Pump. But what they didn't realize is my Tentacruel's my Tyranitar is double moved and runs Stone Edge and one-shot their Wigglytuff because Stone Edge is not resisted while Crunch is. So this player, I guess, kind of gamed themselves there a little bit. But yeah, I knew my MVP was Tyranitar. As long as I can keep him up, it's all great. But Tyranitar is very weak to the Charmer in the back. So Galvantula switch in. This team is fantastic against Galvantula. I decided to no shield here, and luckily it's a lunge. But I have to take out this Galvantula before he gets to another charge move. I do not want to spend a shield. I want to save both of those, especially since I know I can save one for Azumarill. So this game is going to absolutely come down to whatever is in the back. And at this point, you kind of know you've probably won because you're going to have multiple Acid Sprays and 2 shields for Tyranitar. So yeah, Crustle comes in, and watch this. This is an alley-oop again, double alley-oop. We're going to get 2 Acid Sprays in on this Crustle. And Shadow Tyranitar is going to 3-shot this Crustle from max health. So that's just the power of Shadow Tyranitar there. If you can set him up and play around him, it's a ton of fun. This is also the first time I feel like Acid Spray has been like a huge boon on a team where I'm using it just not as like a bait or for the Pokemon that's using it itself, like Shadow Victreebel. Mainly Shadow Victreebel gets that advantage, but this time it's kind of interesting because you got to show some teamwork here. So Umbreon in. If you have an opportunity to go into your Shadow Tyranitar, I would. For example, Umbreon or Mandibuzz, those are 2 prime targets because their charge moves are resisted. So you can see Last Resort there. We're going to see a foul play here. Doesn't do very much damage. I might have to shield one if I don't throw my charge move here, so that's why I throw it. and I don't want to burn shields. I'd rather keep shields up with this team, right? Even if it's not Tyranitar, Crustle's very good with shields too. Tentacruel would rather have shields down, but this team isn't about Tentacruel, and I'm going to do the same thing as last game. I'm going to try and eliminate their second last Pokemon, so I will spend a shield here, even though I probably don't have to. I just don't know how much damage Wigglytuff does, and it looks like it's an Azumarill in the back. So once again, another double fairy team. These have been kind of common. I decided to stick in with Tentacruel here, but maybe it is smarter to swap out to Crustle once I have the debuffs. I'm not really too sure yet. I do know that Crustle does have the slightly better matchup versus Wigglytuff, so I was saving him for that. But I swap out right now to try and either catch a move or take down the Azumarill faster. And luckily, I think I just get that Azumarill down right before they're at the next Ice Beam. So, yet again, another pretty good game. Let me see this next game. Another lead that I'm going to have to abandon here. That's A-Marowak. And they're going to come with their Azumarill. So, very common team. I've seen a lot of Marowak lead into Azumarill and Wigglytuff in the back. The double fairy team. So I'm kind of scared at this point that it's a Wigglytuff in the back. That team absolutely counters this one. If they play it right, we saw that I did win against it once. But Azumarill counters Crustle, Wigglytuff counters Shadow Tyranitar. I like to not try and win back switch advantage and just hope it's not a Wigglytuff in the back. But I'm able to get up to a Hydro Pump here. So because I get to the Hydro Pump, I'm able to fake that I get it and throw the Acid Spray instead. So a lot of people will shield this just because not shielding it is too big of a disadvantage, and luckily they have a Swalot in the back. So I have two shields. This game is winnable. It is going to be very close, but it's winnable. If this was a Wigglytuff, it would be over. You can see these infestations are dealing almost as much damage as the Smackdowns. It's absolutely ridiculous. But this guy does not have shields, and unfortunately I do not get to a charge move. But what I'm going to have to do here is farm this Swalot all the way down and get to a Hydro Pump. But this guy has his switch timer back up, and well played. Swaps it right in for the Bone Club, but I'm already at my Hydro Pump, so I'm going to use that right away to take out the Lola Marowak, and I really have to hope I can farm this guy down before he gets the next charge move, which I cannot. But once again, resisted charge moves against Tentacruel. This thing is an absolute beast. That was less than 25% health, and I was able to still tank a stab charge move there. So we're going to see another 4 to 5 set. There's a lot of rating gains with this team. I think I ended this at around like 28-10 or something like that. A lot of people I've talked to who have been running this team as well have had massive gains. Some people up to 200 over the last day. Some people 200 because they've already played two days worth of sets, so 10 sets. But it is a really it's a fun team, and it kind of has a very clear game plan, so it's easy to play. So this set is a pretty iconic set. I lost 5 leads and I won 5 games. So Shadow Tyranitar in the lead versus Tentacruel. It's an absolutely awful matchup. I swap into my own Shadow Tyranitar because theirs will also beat my Crustle. And they elect to throw a charge move and then swap out to Azumarill. So I'm going to get a Stone Edge off here. They don't shield because they know Tentacruel's coming back in anyways. I'm going to wear down the switch timer just a little bit, but I want to be able to swap this Tentacruel out later. I get a little bit of energy off, and I'm able to throw an Acid Spray. This Tyranitar is very low and doesn't shield, so I'm able to take him down before it is too much more damage to my Tentacruel. And we're going to see a Beedrill in the back. So this is a very good scenario. Very lucky that they were running a Beedrill there. Kind of odd that they were running Beedrill and Azumarill in the back. Both of those are very good Pokemon. They have very different strengths and weaknesses. You ideally might want to be running them as a lead and a closer. But luckily for me, that's how the team was structured, and I'm able to still pull a win out of a really, really bad lead. So Galvantula lead versus Tentacruel. Also very, very bad for Tentacruel, but not too bad for the rest of the team. Their Azumarill comes in. So this is the job of the Crustle, to bait out the anti-rock Pokemon. Sometimes there's two, but a lot of the times it's just Azumarill. So we're going to get rid of this Azumarill. You've seen my play has started to evolve a little bit. I haven't shielded my Crustle against Azumarill in a very long time. I'm really just playing around the Shadow Tyranitar in the back. And as always, no shield the Azu on your Tentacruel. And we'll see what comes in. It's Galvantula, obviously, and swap in the Shadow Tyranitar. And once again, 2 Pokemon weak to rock. This cup is filled with Pokemon weak to rock. Tons of bug types. A-Marowaks everywhere. So you can see I actually get to 2 crunches here, but I'm not going to have to use them. And my opponent will end this game with 2 shields up, which is a pretty common sight, to be honest. This next game, I don't know what the lead is. So I already know is that I've lost it. Wormadam Trash, Confusion user. You got to get out of there with Tentacruel right away. Your backline is okay versus it, and out comes the Qwilfish. So I think this is another team that someone else was using. Mardo was using, I think, and Qwilfish, pretty good against Crustle. As you can see, Water Gun hurts quite a bit, but I'm able to get both shields with Crustle, which is absolutely insane. This guy's farmed up a lot, but it does not matter. Tentacruel can tank any of these moves, no problem, and I'm going to be able to farm all the way up. Normally no shields does not happen, so the fact that I'm able to get to nearly a Hydro Pump is very nice. Unfortunately, Wormadam Trash Confusion does a ton of damage, and I won't actually be needing to use this Hydro Pump, it looks like, anyways. Because Shadow Tyranitar should be able to deal with this Wormadam. I'm going to get to Stone Edge. Fortunately, I'm debuffed by Lunge, but look how much damage that does. That's not a super effective Stone Edge. That's just a regular effectiveness Stone Edge. While debuffed, if you can hit anything with your charge moves on Tyranitar, it's absolutely amazing. Yeah, that was another one of those leads where both Pokemon on the back are good against, so it's not too big of a deal. You'll see it later. Haunter, kind of an annoying lead as well. I'm going to swap right away, and this is absolutely an awful swap as well. Toxicroak, both of your moves are resisted, and it's going to deal some regular effectiveness counters, but luckily for my team, it decides not to shield the Rock Slide. Probably thinking it's resisted, but Crustle does a ton of damage as well. Haunter's going to come back in, and I'm going to throw the X-Scissor, and everyone else shields their Haunter. It doesn't really matter what it is. So luckily, they blow a shield there. Now, we saw what Haunter did to Tyranitar before with Shadow Ball, so I elect to swap there, and they swap right to Azumarill, so kind of, well, unfortunate for them. I would have played it a bit differently, avoiding the Azumarill Tentacruel matchup at all costs. Kind of want to play switch advantage there if you have an Azumarill and you see Tentacruel in the lead. But I'm able to turn around a really, really bad lead and a really bad switch just by a little luck and play. Here we have another bad lead for Tentacruel. Sableye completely outpaces it, and they're going to swap right into Azumarill. This is the same old story, same old song and dance. Crustle versus Azumarill, and they're going to elect to throw their charge move pretty early here, which will give Tentacruel some more time to farm down and get more energy, which is nice. We're just going to bank that energy. Can either bait the Hydro Pump, or just go for the Hydro Pump. We'll see what Pokemon they have, but it's unlikely that I'll be able to get all their shields down in this game anyways until right at the end, unless there's a huge farm down opportunity. So I'm going to throw an Acid Spray and get a shield. I'm going to throw a second Acid Spray. And kind of like, I want to maintain the surprise in the back. is what I'm doing, and I'm really hoping Shadow Tyranitar just can deal with it. So they swap into Mandibuzz, probably because I was mucking around to clear their debuff. And because they do this, I'm going to be able to farm up an absolute ton. So I have 2 shields, and I decided to start shielding Mandibuzz's charge moves because I think I might actually go down to Shadow Claws if I let more than one through. But luckily I am at 2 crunches, or I throw my last fast one to get 2 crunches, and I can throw these back to back and eliminate this Sableye for yet another win. I even have a shield too. I think that Sableye had a little bit of energy, but they did not have enough for 2 charge moves, so they're not going to throw. And there we have it. That's 5 lost leads and 5 wins with this team. It's been an absolute blast. I think the fact that multiple people have independently theory crafted this team just kind of shows how powerful it is. But yeah, I had an absolute blast playing this team. I'll probably switch it up today just because I do want to provide a couple more options of Halloween Cup teams. And I spent a lot of time theory crafting, so I don't want all of this to go to waste. So I'll probably be testing some new teams. As always, if you guys enjoy this kind of content, feel free to throw me a subscribe. And if you guys want some coaching or just want to support me, I'll link my Patreon in the comments, or in the description, sorry. And I'll link Discord as well. We just have a nice little community there. Everyone's just having fun talking about mostly Halloween Cup. There's some practice battles going on if you want to join as well. I'll link my Twitter below. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.